Zero Trust is a security model that assumes breaches are inevitable and that threats can come from both outside and inside the network. Unlike traditional security models that focus on perimeter defenses, Zero Trust requires strict identity verification for every person and device trying to access resources on a private network, regardless of whether they are inside or outside the network perimeter. The traditional security model relied heavily on the concept of a secure perimeter. Firewalls and other security measures were designed to keep threats out. However, with the rise of cloud computing, mobile workforces, and sophisticated cyber attacks, this model has become less effective. Zero Trust emerged as a response to these evolving threats, emphasizing the need for continuous verification and the principle of never trust, always verify. Zero Trust is built on several core principles: verify explicitly, use least privileged access, and assume breach. Verify explicitly means always authenticate and authorize based on all available data points. Use least privileged access ensures that users have the minimum level of access necessary. Assume breach means designing systems as if an attacker is already present, focusing on minimizing the impact of a breach. In a zero trust model, verification is continuous and based on multiple factors. This includes user identity, location, device health, service or workload, data classification, and anomalies. Multi-factor authentication, MFA, is a key component requiring users to provide two or more verification factors to gain access. This reduces the risk of compromised credentials being used to access sensitive resources. Least privileged access means granting users the minimum level of access they need to perform their jobs. This reduces the risk of unauthorized access to sensitive information. Role-based access control, RBAC, and just-in-time, JET access are commonly used to implement this principle. RBAC assigns permissions based on the user's role within the organization, while JET access provides temporary permissions for specific tasks. Assuming breach involves designing security measures with the expectation that an attacker is already inside the network. This approach focuses on minimizing the impact of a breach by segmenting the network, monitoring for unusual activity, and quickly responding to incidents. Microsegmentation, which divides the network into smaller, isolated segments, is a key strategy in this principle. Azure provides a range of tools and services to help organizations implement a zero trust model. Azure Active Directory, Azure AD, supports MFA and conditional access policies, which are essential for verifying explicitly. Azure RBAC and Azure Policy help enforce least privileged access. Azure Sentinel and Azure Security Center offer advanced threat detection and response capabilities, supporting the assume breach principle. Azure AD is a cloud-based identity and access management service that plays a crucial role in zero trust. It supports MFA, conditional access, and identity protection. Conditional access policies allow organizations to enforce access controls based on user, location, device, and risk level. Identity protection uses machine learning to detect and respond to suspicious activities, helping to verify explicitly and assume breach. Azure RBAC allows organizations to manage access to resources based on the user's role. This aligns with the least privileged access principle by ensuring users only have the permissions they need. Roles can be assigned at different scopes, such as subscription, resource group, or resource level, providing granular control over access permissions. Custom roles can also be created to meet specific organizational needs. Just-in-time JIT access in Azure is implemented through Azure AD Privileged Identity Management, PIM. PIM allows organizations to grant temporary permissions for specific tasks, reducing the risk of excessive permissions being exploited. Users can request elevated access for a limited time, and these requests can be subject to approval workflows and auditing, ensuring that least privileged access is maintained. Microsegmentation is a key strategy for assuming breach. In Azure, this can be achieved using network security groups, NSGs, and Azure Firewall. NSGs allow organizations to control traffic between resources within a virtual network, while Azure Firewall provides centralized network security policy management. By segmenting the network, organizations can limit the lateral movement of attackers and contain breaches more effectively. Azure Sentinel and Azure Security Center provide advanced threat detection and response capabilities. Azure Sentinel is a cloud-native security information and event management (SIEM) system that uses AI to analyze large volumes of data and detect threats. Azure Security Center offers unified security management and advanced threat protection across hybrid cloud workloads. These tools support the assume breach principle by enabling continuous monitoring and rapid response to incidents. Consider a multinational corporation that has adopted a zero trust model using Azure. They use Azure AD for identity management, enforcing MFA and conditional access policies. Azure RBAC and PIM ensure least privileged access, while NSGs and Azure Firewall provide microsegmentation. Azure Sentinel and Security Center continuously monitor for threats. As a result, the organization has significantly reduced its risk of data breaches and improved its overall security posture. Implementing zero trust is not without challenges. It requires a cultural shift within the organization, as well as significant changes to existing security infrastructure. Organizations must invest in the right tools and technologies and ensure that their staff are trained to use them effectively. Additionally, continuous monitoring and management are essential to maintain a zero trust environment. Despite these challenges, the benefits of improved security and reduced risk make zero trust a worthwhile investment. The zero trust model is continually evolving to address new and emerging threats. Advances in AI and machine learning are enhancing threat detection and response capabilities. As more organizations adopt cloud services and remote work becomes more prevalent, the principles of zero trust will become increasingly important. By staying ahead of the curve and continuously improving their security posture, organizations can better protect their assets and data in an ever-changing threat landscape. Zero trust represents a fundamental shift in how organizations approach security. By assuming that threats can come from anywhere and continuously verifying every access request, organizations can better protect their resources and data. Azure provides a comprehensive set of tools and services to help implement a zero trust model, making it easier for organizations to adopt this approach. While the journey to zero trust can be challenging, the benefits of enhanced security and reduced risk make it a critical strategy for the modern enterprise.